Hello, ghouls and goblins, and welcome back to Cute Claws with Kelly, or shall I say Spooky Claws with Kelly. Today's look is inspired by an old 80s movie. I have been so into them. I used to love the old monster movies from when I was a kid, and I've got to watch all my favorites, and one of those includes the movie Once Bitten. It has a very young Jim Carrey in it, and it is so good. If you've never watched it, I highly recommend it. I'll put a picture in here for you guys so you can kind of see at least the movie cover. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. I haven't seen it in years, and then it came on TV and I caught the tail end, so of course I had to go and then get it myself to watch it. So yeah, that's what we're going for, a look inspired by that movie today, with vampires and blood and coffin, and of course, you know, that movie title, Once Bitten. I am doing some reverse stamping for this, which I have never done before, and I'm super excited to get into it. It came out so good. So if you've never tried reverse stamping, I highly recommend it. It does take a hot minute for you to get that done, just because you have to like color in your stamp after you pick it up from your plate with the various colors that you want, and then you have to wait for that to dry. So there are some extra steps involved, but again, it's so worth it. I kind of am speeding through me doing my dip application. Actually, I had cut most of it out because I did it out of frame, so I apologize about that. But you guys have seen me dip a million times already, so there's other videos on my channel if you are looking for you know, how to get the dip on your nails. I went with a natural looking nail. So this was Kiara Sky Cream of the Crop that I put down. And I'm back to my little shorty nails again after having the long tips for so long. I just wanted to do soak off and, you know, kind of like a fresh start. So I did 2 dips of the cream of the crop, and then I did 1 dip of clear on top of that and got all of my shaping done. I was using the Virgo Gem dip liquids, so I used the top coat as a base coat, and then I used their activator, and then I did all my filing and shaping off camera. And then here I'm just going in with my Mia Secret Nail Prep, the dehydrator, as well as the extra bond or the primer, just so that, you know, my top coat, my Modelones gel top coat, will stick really well. And I like to put the gel top coat on just because if I put the stamp on and I don't like the way it looks, I can wipe that off, you know, easily and do it again, do it over. Also, because I'm using such a light, you know, dip on my nail, I don't want to risk that when I lay the stamp down just on top of that without doing a top coat first, and then I don't like it and I try to take it off, it might stain, you know, that creamy colored nail. So that's the other reason I like to do the top coat first before I get into the stamping. So I will come back just as we're getting started with the stamping and explain how I did the first one, and then leave you to watch the rest as I get my nails all good to go, and I'll show you the cute, fun Halloween stamping plates that I am using. And then yeah, we'll go from there. Be right back. Okay, so I got some really great stamping plates from Maniology. These were from their recent Halloween line. So this one here is like a Ouija board one. And this one I'm going to use for the letters. So to spell out the movie title, Once Bitten, I'm going to use these letters from this plate, and that's going to go on my thumb. You're going to see that, towards the end of the video. This plate here, let's see, I think from here I'm just using the blood spatter, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's just the blood spatter on this one, and that's going to go on my ring finger. And then I have this other plate here that has like all the vampire stuff on it. So I'm going to go with a vampire, the mouth with the teeth, the I need blood, and the coffin, as well as the little vampire bite. So I'm going to have, really accent nails on every single nail. And then here's some liquid latex that I picked up that I had never tried out because I always forget to use it. But on the stamps that you're basically covering your whole nail, this stuff is a good idea to put around your cuticle to protect the skin on that finger around the nail, so that you have minimal cleanup. Like with the acetone or alcohol or whatever you're using to clean up. You just put this around. You want to give it a good few minutes to dry so that it's no longer tacky. And then when you go to put your stamp on top of it, it's covering the whole nail. It's inevitably going to get around your nail as well. So it just gets on this liquid latex, and then, once you're all done, you can peel it right off. And, like I said, you don't have as much cleanup to do. I find that when I'm stamping with dark colors, and then you try to do cleanup, it stains your skin a little bit, and then it takes a few days for you to be washing your hands and for all of that to come off. So this is definitely going to save me there. So here I'm just pointing out the different little stampies that I'm going to be using on my nails. I had pre-planned what I was going to do in terms of my colors and which stamps I was going to use and how I was going to lay them out on each of my fingers. So I just kind of take what's in my head and write it down in my little planner at my desk to make sure that it makes sense, and then I go from there. So here are the stamping colors that I have. So I had gotten a Born Pretty set of these stamping polishes. Certainly don't have all of the colors that there are, as you can see from the numbers on these little swatch wheels, but I have enough to get me started. And so the colors that I go for are black, red, white, purple, and then brown for the coffin. So I think I show you the numbers on the bottom of each of those stamping colors as we get into it here. So the other thing is that I had bought some new stamping tools and new stampers, and I could not get them to work. It was kind of like they were too new, if that makes sense. They were too new and they wouldn't pick up the stamp, and it was really frustrating me. And I had read Maniology actually sent me an email where they were like, hey, if this is happening to you, here's what you do. So they said to take the stamper and to wash it with a bit of soap, and then it would work. Well, I tried that and it did not work for me. I also saw from a YouTuber recently, she said that if you just gently file the top of your stamper, it like roughs it up enough that it'll like then work and pick up the image. So that's the next thing I've got to try. So I cut all of that out. I just didn't, want to waste y'all's time showing you, me trying to pick up stamps with a stamper that wasn't working. So I reverted back to using my Born Pretty stampers, which are tried and true for me. They always work. And so here we go. I'm picking up my first little vampire guy here. So you saw me put some polish on the plate. I scraped it over, and then I picked it up and kind of cleaned it up on the edges with a lint roller. And then I'm just going to set that aside to kind of dry a little bit, because I'm going to be going in to color it in with different colors before I lay it on my nail. So here I'm going in with my second one, because I have two of these little stampers. And this is the the mouth with the fangs. And so the same thing, I picked it up. I'm going to set it aside and let it dry just a bit before I then go in to color it in with the colors. Alright, so here I'm just laying out the colors from my color wheel that I'm going to pick. So obviously I'm going to go with red and white. Red for the lips and white for the teeth. Okay, so now that my stamp has been sitting and drying for a little bit, you can see that I've got my little nail art brush here, and I'm going to pick up some polish and I'm just going to float it over the stamp in the areas that I want it. So you can't really touch it onto the stamp because then it's going to pick up your stamp and it's going to stick to your little nail art brush and it's going to be ruined. So you really do need to take enough polish that you're kind of dragging or floating that polish over the stamp where you want it to be. So this does take kind of a light hand and a little bit of practice. I did mess up a couple of my stamps since this was my first time, and what I did is to prevent that the second time is I just picked up more polish each time, and then just so I'd have enough to really float it in the areas that I wanted it to go. And then I turn my stamp over to look at it the other direction as if I was gonna lay it on my nail to see how it was coming out. So I would do that frequently just to kind of check it out, make sure that things were looking the way that I wanted it to look. And then I took both colors out at the same time for this, the red and the white, and I would actually recommend just doing one color at a time because it is stamping polish. It dries so quickly. So I didn't have an issue with this because it was kind of a small stamp, and because I started with the white and got that out of the way pretty fast. My red was still fine, but it can dry just so quickly, and you definitely don't want to put partially dry polish on your stamp when you're coloring it in, because then it's going to be kind of dry and clumpy and it's just not going to go on right. So that would be one thing that I would recommend you do different. And after I did this stamp, that's what I did on the other stamps. I used one color at a time. I did not lay them all out on my little scraper card to start with at first. I did one color at a time. So here I'm going in with the red, and I'm just very lightly getting it all around the lip area on this stamp. I'm being very careful not to mix it with the white polish. Although if you do go over your first color with your second color slightly, it shouldn't really matter, because since it dries so fast, that white polish is pretty much already dry. And then if I go touch the white with the red, you're not really going to see the red because the white's already going to be covering it when you look at the stamp from the reverse side, when you flip it over like you're going to lay it on your nail. So I did have that happen, not on this one, but on some of the other stamps that I was doing this with, and it wasn't a big deal. but I'm still trying not to mix the colors, if that makes sense. It's just that, you know, obviously you're working with a very small like stencil and a very small brush, and you know, like sometimes accidents happen, but you just do your best and take it slow. And this was actually pretty relaxing, you know, like doing this nail art. So that's the other reason that I really liked it. So after I get this all colored in, I'm gonna set it aside and let it dry. And while it's drying, you know, you get all your stamps like colored in the way you like, let them sit off to the side and dry. And then what you want to do is on your nail, you want to put down a tacky layer, something that this is then going to stick to. And so for me, since I use gel polish, I went with a gel polish base. You're going to see that I put that on my nail. I stick it in the nail lamp to cure it for 30 seconds. And because it's base, it has like that tacky layer. It's just sticky enough for this stamp, the reverse stamp, to stick to it. So that's exactly what I did, and it came out beautiful. And then I just let that sit on my nail for a little bit, and then later on, after I was sure that it was dry, I went in with my Modelones top coat and like sealed it, sealed the stamp with another layer of the gel polish top coat, and then cured that for a full 60 seconds. So I think that that's all in terms of the reverse stamping. So I'm going to step out. You guys just sit, you know, watch, take it all in, the glory of this reverse stamping and this cute once bitten vampire manicure that I'm doing for you all. I hope you like it, and I will come back later when I feel like I have something else to pop in and share with you. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but when I laid the stamp down, the I need blood words on top of the blood spatter, I guess I just laid it down too quickly and it like kind of smudged and it didn't really look right. So I ended up having to take that off, the whole like nail, like the red and the black all together. I left the liquid latex on my finger, but I ended up redoing the stamp. So you're just seeing me here a second ago. I was just going back over it with the words I need blood again. And then now I'm just peeling off that liquid latex, and you can see that, you know, it really did a great job of protecting my skin and my cuticles from, you know, that red polish that would have gotten everywhere. So here I've skipped to the end where I've got all of my stamps now done. So as you can see, I added a coffin on my pinky nail with a white cross on it. And then on my thumb, I did the movie title of Once Bitten. I kind of have the O crooked on purpose because that's the way the movie title looked. And then I was going to do the two T's really close together and like point them at the bottom to look like fangs because that's what the movie title looks like, but I didn't have enough room. So I just decided to go with the little like bite, vampire bite underneath there. So it came out really cute. So I just, continued the same process that I had shown you with the reverse stamping. The Once Bitten, that wasn't reverse. That was just me picking up the letters in black and laying them down on the nail. So I didn't have to put the gel base down first. And then I did a top coat over everything to protect it. And then here, just, like I always do, I'm going in with my, my cuticle Candi oil, and I'm putting that around my nails and working it in and making sure that, you know, I'm adding some hydration back into my nails and my cuticles and the surrounding skin. This is a lavender scented pen applicator, which I really, really like. It's perfect for on the go, to make sure that you are oiling your cuticles. You should do that at least once a day, if not more, because it restores the health to your nails. So here's the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.